Oh shoot, I forgot what she looks like. Crap. uh, hello. Hello, hello, and welcome. I am trying to multitask. I am not an octopus, so it's a little bit hard. That's not what I wanted. What is this doing? Hey. Um, Crap. I don't know how to go back on this. I guess it's just not gonna allow me to go back. Um, oh, there we go. No, do I need to? I need to be signed in on my other. So this is where like a computer will like be really, really in handy. That is okay. Ah, I'm gonna do a super quick sketch. Feel free to ask a question. I'm just trying to get a little bit of background music. If I can like do this. I mean, like I'm right-handed, so I feel like I should be able to with like no problem. But all right, success. Let's reload that. Ooh, I can take this off the charger. All right. That's not what I wanted. That's not what I wanted. What is this doing this for? Okay. Can I? Oh, this it's not an app, so. Oh, cool. It's not like YouTube. Awesome. Um. And I'm not talking about their eyeshadow. Okay. I think I got it now. So, I guess it's more like straight. Do that. All right, so I'm doing like basic layout right now of one of something. I think it's like this. Let's see, what adventure should I tell you all today? I don't know. Hello, James. How are you doing? So this is probably going to be a really quick sketch and nothing like too intense. And I'm literally like looking at my phone as I sketch this. So I don't know like how accurate it really is on the paper. I haven't done to you anything. It was pretty okay. Merci beaucoup. Merci beaucoup. I guess I can play again. I guess. Let's see. Adventures. I guess I can like continue on with like the saga. French Montana. Who is that? I'm sorry, I live under a rock. I guess like being like, you would think that being in a social circle and whatnot that I would be, you know, like socially adept with things. Then like, wow, she probably really doesn't get it, because who gets into a friend group where no one is acting friendly towards you, you know? So I like, I don't know, where do I go with that? Just, you know, like being in these groups where it's like, oh, you know, there's supposed to be sisterhood, and like this is a girl group where like everyone is supposed to be like pulling their weight and stuff, and like doing the thing, you know, like back in MySpace days, I feel like maybe it's not really apparent now, but like you couldn't be a poser. You know, like you couldn't just be like, oh, I'm just taking like a picture in my bathroom dressed up and like, oh, okay. You know, like that's it, that's all. Or like people will call you out quicker if like you were starting trouble, you know, in the community. And like that was the thing. But I just never, like, I guess probably being desperate and maybe not seeing the cues of like, okay, well, this person is truly not treating me with respect, you know, but let me still pray and like blah, 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 you know, especially in the community that I've been in like for so long, like the aspect of like, okay, you know, like I have to do these things like on the day, like it's not just, oh, it's the weekend, you know, let me dress up or whatever, or oh, like only for anime conventions. Like it was like, I'm saying like a lot, like, you know, like, oh God, there I go again. For instance, I was able to go to school in, you know, in this fashion and whatnot. And I was pretty lucky because some people, they went to schools where there was uniforms, and things like that. So, you know, that was a pretty big deal to me, you know, like living it 100%, you know, like, and you were like, at least like for me, just having been brought up in, you know, this aspect, like you were respectful to those that came before you, especially the ones that have already been there. Like you just don't like go up in their face, say that you like them one minute, and then all of a sudden like you're tearing them down and spreading rumors about them. But, you know, but being with people who like, I really put my own self aside, my own feelings, my own emotions, my own intuition aside for Black Cherry, one of Chicago's Garusa, you know, putting, you know, like, oh, someone is like literally like breaking girl code, but, you know, the community comes first instead of, wow, this is really hurting my feelings. This is like, I feel so disrespected and whatnot. And, you know, leaving instead of, oh, let me give this person a second chance. And mind you, like, I used to go to this karaoke bar a lot in Chinatown that was acquainted to me by another person who was like, oh, you know, like, if you go here or like go to like any bar, really. I was about 20, 21 at the time. She's like a bit older than me. Hello and welcome. She's like, oh yeah, you know, like if you go to a bar, you can get men to buy you drinks, but you have to like entertain them for a while and you can't like do all this like other stuff. So just like being introduced to like all this weird stuff and like I'm like, okay, that's weird, you know, like why not just buy my own fucking drink, you know, but I didn't ask those questions. But aside from that, just like working in a team of people that just like hated my guts just because like I was going to college, or just hated my guts because I was doing a lot of my blogging work and people were receptive to it, you know, and being backstabbed, or like, oh, let's put on our blog that, you know, everybody in this circle are bitches, coming from former members and stuff like that. And it's like, wow, you know, like that's a lot to say by someone who tried to rendezvous with my boyfriend, you know, sending pictures to him and everything like that. And just not sticking up for myself, not validating my own feelings with things like that. And, you know, it's like I am showing people constantly in this ghetto community, especially in Chicago, that like, oh, you can fuck her over and she will put her feelings aside for you. You know, you can fuck her over, you can flake on her, you can have her do all of the work, you can bullshit her, you can waste her time and all this stuff, and like she will put that aside and like keep giving you second chances. You know, she won't fight you and things like that. But backtracking to this karaoke lounge that I was introduced to, like I remember, you know, like I'm single, I'm not, you know, like upset that, you know, like the guy that I was with, who was probably cheating on me anyway, you know, like that's done. And I'm like, okay, whatever, you know, like I can talk to new people, I can, you know, like I'm free, you know, like I'm free from like the shackles of this relationship of being with someone that, you know, it's like you're not stepping up to the plate, but yet I can't be in a relationship with someone else who's actually going to be a boyfriend, you know? So, okay, kind of cute. So, being like freshly single at that point, I was taking this person to this karaoke lounge just to like have a drink and just like chill and kick it and everything. And I see the girl with some kind of like mutual friends, the guy that she was with at the moment, and I'm like, whatever. You know, like it wasn't like, oh, hey girl, and like, oh, I hate her guts. It's just like, oh, like I think I see them, because mind you, I don't have perfect vision, so like I have to see like general shape of the person's body depending on how far they are and like all of that stuff. So I'm like, oh, that kind of looks like so-and-so, but I'm like, okay, like whatever. You know, I am preoccupied with this person. She spots me, she's already drunk, and you know, she comes up to me, oh, Alicia, oh my gosh. And I'm like, but you don't like me, you know, like you went against girl code, you know, like you don't try to fuck someone's boyfriend behind their back and then just play it off like your pussy is magic and that's gonna like fucking save everything, you know, like whether she instigated instigated trying to sleep with the boyfriend I had at the time, or if he was you know, doing that first, because he did make mention of wanting to sleep with my gal friends as like a threesome or whatever. At first, like I at the time being, how old was I during this time? 17, 18, maybe 18, 19-ish when I first met the original Chicago gals. I thought it was just a joke, I guess. Like I didn't really like look into it that much. It's just like, no, like what? But you know, she's like, oh my gosh, you know, like she's already had a bit to drink. Oop. And then all of a sudden, like, she just starts crying, like, oh my God. And then, like, she books it towards the bathroom. And, like, she's, like, under the sink, like, crying, like, oh my gosh, no, no. Because I guess she thought that I was going to fight her because, like, you don't do that. Like, it's not a Jerry Springer episode, you know, like, we're not that hood. Little fucking pencil bits, or whatever. But, you know, like, you don't do stuff like that and get away with it. And I'm just like, really chill would probably like freak some people out because, you know, like anybody else, like, it would have been on. You know, like, the establishment probably would have had to call the police on the both of us. But, like, I'm more concerned, like, come on, like, this don't look good. Like, I guess I could have been like, oh, whatever, like, you know, you can cry up under the fucking sink if you want to, but, you know, other person's like, oh my gosh, Leisha, like, leave her alone and, like, don't do this. And I'm like, I'm not antagonizing her. This is her fucking guilt getting to her, of her taking the route of, you know, like, wanting to do this or maybe even take the fall for someone else. But, you know, like, that hurt. And I still took it back. Or like, oh, like, before I guess I found out, I remember being at the dorms of Columbia and, like, I wasn't feeling well, you know, like, my relationship was already, like, in shambles or whatever, and I'm just sitting there and she's going on and on about, like, oh, I never, like, fuck over my friends type of thing. And then, like, at the same time, the guy that I was with was texting me. He's like, yeah, you know, like, she was sending me pictures and blah, 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 blah. And, like, hearing that from him and hearing that from her at the same time, I'm just like, whoa, like, I need to get out of here. And then I eventually was just like, yeah, there was, like, another person in the building that was there. And I was just like, hey, you know, like, I need to chill with you all for a little bit because I just felt so overwhelmed with that realization. Like, oh, I never fuck over my friends, but yet you're fucking me over, so I guess I'm not considered as a friend. And, you know, she wants to be like, oh, we're gal sisters and all this other stuff. At least back then, it's just like, wow, you really don't treat me like one, you know? And I was just like, too into the gal-ism to, you know, like, rationalize being hurt like that. Or, you know, having drama come up and, like, being called bitches and stuff when she wants to, like, go into a new gal circle, and then come back, like, afterwards when Galaxy came back, just, like, all that wishy-washy stuff. It's just like, yuck, you know. And just, like, I can't keep putting my own emotions aside for projects and stuff. Like, I'm not a robot. You know, like, I have emotions. I feel things when people do stuff to me, you know, and why continuously get disappointed in these situations, you know? But, I mean, like, I can be upset about this person's actions, but I do have to, you know, take it upon myself of being like, okay, you allowed this, you know, like, I invalidated my own feelings. I put, you know, a J fashion in front of my own well-being, my own mental health, my own sanity and whatnot, you know, for dressing up weird, you know? And even that carrying through with the current Chicago gal circle, you know, like, being literally bitched at in front of my face, in front of people, and nobody saying a damn thing. And it's like, oh, we're just so preoccupied with everything else. But I'm like, y'all looking dead at us. And this person is just going ballistic, I guess, trying to, like, put me in my place because she wants to be, like, the new face of Chicago gal or whatever. And just kind of, like, take me out of the picture. You know, like, if you get rid of the strongest thing of the competition, if you make them feel bad, if, you know, like, the constant, like, oh, you know, we can do mean things to you, but we will just give you a shitty apology or an excuse. Like, it's all nice and fine because you'll take it anyway. And this person can, like, become more popular than you and, you know, take your crown type of thing. And it's just, it's just really crazy, just putting like my own self aside to be like this helpful person towards people who don't give a fuck, to people who don't have respect for me, or like I want to say like to people in general, but at least in this instance, because I can only speak for myself, like they don't have respect for me, like I'm not just, this like weird asshole person. I guess it's just maybe like some jealousy or something going on, or like someone else is like putting these other people to it. Because like I even had to ask, like, wow, like these little rumors that got started in one of these little secret gal community groups, hey Nani, like, was this all your idea, or like did somebody put this on for you? Like did someone like tell you to start these rumors about me when I haven't even been in the gal community in the first place, but I'm taking the time out of me healing from, mourning my mom's death and how traumatic that shit was, to help out with your group, and you want to like curse me out in public or threaten me and, all this other stuff, but then claim that, hey, and stuff like that. But like, like I'm not anybody's mom. Like they can do however they please, but just understand that like I'm not your verbal punching bag, like you just can't expect me to just keep coming back for like shitty $1 gifts or, fake projects and stuff, and think that like I'm going to be by your side, for forever and ever. And then like, I guess the guilt trip stuff of like, oh my gosh, my friends always abandon me and like all this stuff. And it's like, well, are you treating those friends with respect? Or is it just like, like the guilt trip, like, oh, feel sorry for me and like stay by my side despite me not being respectful to you and never having been respectful to you at all. But just doing my best to like break those habits, like it's like I like having the habit of just like being this people pleaser, like this almost like maid or servant to other people and their needs and their emotions, hasn't really done me any good. Like maybe if I became a therapist or a caretaker, like, all right, I'm being paid to help you out and, whatever. But, dealing with just, like all this stuff. And it's like, for what reason? Like I'm not a martyr, matar, you know what I'm talking about, and it's just like, come on, leash, like I just can't be, like taken for granted, just disrespected just for the fun of it. And just that is disappointing. Like, of course, like having gal circles end or fall apart, or having been snubbed by former gals, having been left out of the Chicago Tokyo Kawaii group by Kamila and Sandra and, all of them. That's one thing that's disappointing. But, or like, oh, here's this project here. Oh, here's this project here. And just like, okay, this is just like fake stuff, and everybody's just like okay with their time being wasted. But, that's one thing, to be disappointed at that. But then it's like, okay, I'm disappointed myself for not seeing the bullshit at first, not peeping it before, like, I don't know, just being disappointed in myself. But then it's like, okay, well, I'm learning, I'm growing, like you want to take people's word, I guess, somewhat at face value, especially if they want to like run around and say that you're friends to like everybody. But I guess that's like ulterior motive type of stuff. But just just disappointed in myself, you know, first and foremost, and just changing that about myself, you know. How many minutes am I at? A good 30 minutes, I guess. She needs some eyeballs. You know, just like being constantly lied to by people, you know, like trying to do my best with like getting stuff done and just constantly being lied to. Just, you know, a lie over here, a lie over there, you know, like, oh, she'll just believe any fucking thing. And it's like, okay, but who's the person saying all these lies first and foremost? You know, like, I guess nobody in the world has a conscience when they meet me, I guess. Like, I don't know how else to explain it, but just being disappointed by me allowing people to like get away with treating me like shit, allowing people to pull one over, to, you know, lie to me like straight in my face and not just like call them out on their bullshit, like first and foremost, you know. And I didn't think that that would be a part of my life. Just like, oh, you're probably a liar. And then I'm probably like, whoa, like what the fuck? You know, but, you know, maybe I'll get it to a classier point with that. But like having someone from Arta Wigs like, oh, I really want you to do blah, 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 blah. And like her being so excited. And like, mind you, I have other people in the vicinity that's hearing this conversation that I've known for like a long ass time, you know. And she's going on and on and on about like my schedule and this, that, and the other, I guess trying to make it seem real. But she's already friends with Eteria. So I'm like later on, it was like, oh, okay, you know, this shit isn't anything. You know, this person is just like lying through her teeth. And eventually, like, you know, just messaging her, like she was evading my calls of like me trying to get more information because, you know, like if this is a real business deal, like be about your word, you know. But then eventually, like, since I actually called the place, I guess it was just like, oh, you know, like, who's this person? She's like, oh, you know, like, well, I can't just set anything up, blah, 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 blah. And, like, I guess I can, like, take you off the mailing list if you want. So pretty much saying, like, oh, like, I'm thinking of having you model these wigs, but since you know, like, let me just put it out there that you don't want to do this instead of being like, okay, well, I would just lie to you in front of your face at this anime convention, you know. And it's like, why and it'll be different if it was like white people or like non-black people playing these games, but it's like legit like the black people that like I run to and like try to do stuff with, you know, because it's like, oh yeah, black people doing all the stuff. And it's like, wow, you know, like what is this? But yeah, it's just really weird. And like, I don't know, it's just like I don't want to continuously be this like gullible person anymore, you know. Like a person from Arta Wigs already like saw that I was gullible, or at least like kind of called her out on her falsehoods, I guess. I guess like maybe me saying that is like not gonna like do anything good for me, but you know, or you know, just stuff like that. And it's just like, why waste your time lying to me? You know, like, does that make them feel good somewhere deep down? You know, like, is this like some weird like turn on for people? You know, I don't know. I'm just gonna have her have closed eyes. Oh, I don't like how her nose came out. But that's like pretty much like the gist of like everything, you know, just me either being super depressed, and gullible and just like way too into, you know, into what I'm doing to actually like see when I'm being like straight up lied to in my face. Um, I don't know how I want to do her nose. Just do like a little, something like that, I guess might work. I'll get rid of some of these other lines, but I mean, those are like my business adventures too, you know, like I try my best to like have that, like outside of me just like, okay, you know, like I can publish, you know, a blog post, I can, you know, like tweak my blog site and everything like that, or like be consistent with things, like when it comes to like deciphering if these quote unquote business proposals, or whatever, like are real or legit, or just like seeing if I'm gonna fall for it. Like that's like my shortcoming, you know? And like it'll be different if people are like, oh, Alicia's so fucking stupid, she fell for this, that, or the other, instead of like, you know, like just blatant lies. But I guess then it'll be like, oh, you're lying to this person, and then that truth will like come out in that end. Then, you know, like, am I gonna be like, oh, here's my fucking blood test, you know, like this ain't a fucking job. Like what does me having to do cocaine have to do with anything in the gal community, like whatsoever, you know, besides somebody just want to fucking run a fucking mouth, you know? And I apologize for the cursing, but you know, like it's just really crazy, you know? And yeah, yeah, yep. So that has been that. um Yeah, I mean, like, questions can be, well, I guess I'll be, like, heading out soon-ish, I think, because I kind of want to get me a snack, but, just, you know, being a gullible person, like, okay, yeah, I guess some of the clout was there or whatever, but, just being treated like a fucking fool, being treated like a peasant, being treated like respect should not go to me because I guess someone else is so jaded and jealous or something. So it's like, okay, since I'm feeling so hurt because someone is like doing all this work by themselves, so everyone else treat them like shit because I feel bad. You know, like, is that really how people go on about life these days? You know, like, the stuff is just crazy. Yeah. But just disappointed of like how much I fail for like stuff with these people, you know, like just falling for stuff like over and over and over again. And you know, and it's like there are no apologies. There have never been any apologies. There have never been anything to be like, wow, you know, like, we're sorry for putting you through this. We're sorry that we let our emotions guide our behavior or anything. And like, it's okay, you know, but just, yeah. I mean, I can go on and on about like crazy stories of, or like trying to play up crazy stories or whatever to be sensational, but you know, my life, other than, you know, more or less being lied to, being gullible and being threatened and everything, has been more or less just like go to school or go to work, come home, draw a little bit, game a little bit. Back in the day, write some blog posts, chat with people, give some advice here and there, or like some tips for like makeup or style or whatever. And like, that's it, you know. or trying to like date and just be fucking stupid and like, all right, this is obviously not working, or this person is really creepy, or like, this person broke my toilet seat. How do I explain this to my roommate back in 2010? You know, but just, you know, like, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's like, what else do I really say about it? You know, like, do I be angry, or should I be angry at like people who just have a chip on their shoulder with anybody that they meet, when they could just be working on their inadequacies? You know, because I sure fucking work on mine. You know, like, oh, I might stand a little awkward. All right, I'll work on that better. I might I used to have bad posture and kind of like shrink myself so I wouldn't be seen because I just felt awkward and ugly. Well, let me try to do my best to stand up tall and, you know, like at least try to work on that confidence, try to work on talking to people and not seeming like I'm just some weirdo or whatever, or just so awkward and stuff. And, you know, working on like the root of my depression and why I'm depressed. Just trying to do it better, you know, like this stuff kind of it doesn't happen overnight. You know, it's not like, oh, I talked to one person, I am the best social person ever. Like, this stuff takes a lot of time, and just doing my best to like overcome my fears and my anxieties just to like meet with people at anime conventions, or, you know, like stuff like that, you know. And I don't know, just like I learned a lot of stuff, but just definitely disappointed in being like the Cinderella without like, you know, like there's no glass slipper yet. You know, there's no like prince to like chill with or whatever. It's just, all right, well, I guess I'm not like, you know, doing all of your work type of thing, you know? But, you know, there's just not much that can be done to, like, make me feel different. You know, I guess it's like, oh, who are you? You know, like, it's not like I'm a celebrity or anything, you know? So it's like, oh, we don't have to, like, really apologize or make nice. But there's just, like, I feel like really little that can be done after just like the constant like slap in the face type of treatment from these people. You know, like, I'm doing all of this work for you. I am promoting the events for you. I am writing these blog posts for you. I am, you know, like going to the metro or whatever to pick up these people for the gala events while everybody else is just dilly-dallying and running late and stuff, you know. And, you know, no one said, hey, Leash, thanks for like picking up the slack. No one said, hey, you know, like anything. You sometimes not even like saying that they even gonna not be there until like asking them, you know. And like there's just little that can be done to like change that shit. Oop. That's not what I wanted to do. But I mean, so like one person who turned on you and then it started having an effect, or was it more? I think it was definitely multiple different reasons. I feel like when like I am in Chicago and there was a Chicago Garusa at the beginning, I was actually rejected from that Garusa. But I still wanted to meet them and still was like, hey, you know, whatever. This was LA and Tomo back in the day. When Kamikaze Girls was a thing on Ricochet.net. And I'm like, okay, you know, like I'm going to continue getting better with my style. You know, I'll keep getting better. But I was just like really personable. I'm just like, hey, this person, hey, that, like, is there anything that I can like do to like make my makeup look better? Because I was really into it. And, people giving me advice, and I'm like, hey, thanks, so and so, hey, thanks, blah, 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 hey, thanks, 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 thanks. And hi, I waved to you before. And I'm also like talking and trying to draw while holding a phone. Um, but I, when before Black Cherry got formed, Diamond Gaudusau was already a thing. It was already established. Kamikaze Girls had ended, and then during that time, LA was in LA Gal was in Diamond Gals with Kaizo, and they saw that like I was really about like the blogging and stuff. Like everything was like really consistent from my end, and they were vouching for me to be a part of Diamond, and at the time that was a big freaking deal. We LA, Tomasa, I, and Murphy wanted to make Black Cherry to get people acquainted with Gal in Chicago. It would be like a stepping stone for them to get acquainted, to recruit more gals, and then be able to have those people from our Nagasa, our friendship circle, to be able to be participate in the Diamond Gaudusa, which was an event circle, strictly like making events for the Midwest part. So all of our Black Cherry mini meets were to like help get people like acquainted with us, because some people thought that like me and LA were like stuck up and everything because of our affiliation with the bigger circle. So I'm guessing that the girl in Black Cherry who wasn't a part of Diamond felt slighted because she didn't get like an invitation to be in this gal circle. At the time, like I thought that maybe, because like other people were applying to gal circles and stuff, so I didn't apply because I'm like, I'm not at that tier, I'm not at that level just yet. But I'm assuming that she felt like, wow, like how dare this new person come in when I've been gal and get into this big circle. So that was that. I also felt that she was upset that I got into the school of her choice, even though I graduated from high school before she did. So that's kind of like illogical to me. It's like me being upset at someone who graduated from a school that I want to go to when they've been there already. Like that doesn't make sense. But sometimes emotions are irrational, or maybe someone just wants to hate you and just gets mad at like any old thing. So I'm in Diamond or whatever, Diamond Event Circle, and we're trying to make Black Cherry because this is our like business plan. We're going to have people become acquainted with us. We're going to like pretty much help promote stuff, but like it was like a smaller sector of Diamond. And that could have been a factor. It could have also been a factor that the other BC member who was also a part of Diamond too could have felt a certain way because I was becoming more well known than they were when they were like the first gals. But I'm like fucking geeked about like posting and like, oh my gosh, like is my makeup okay? Like, wow, and then I feel that with my breakup that like all the blame was put on me. Nobody was like, oh, but Alicia's boyfriend, like you never really took her out on dates. You said that you wanted an open relationship and you all agreed to this. None of that part was ever said. It was just like, Alicia's this like evil slut, when it was like, okay, well, I can't break up with this person because they'll cry in Grant Park again. But, they're asking to like have sex with my gal friends or whatever. So I'm thinking that with that being put online, that this other person who saw, because she was contacting me a lot because she, like, I kept popping up on her Facebook feed. And it's like, oh wow, who is this person with like all these friends and like this blog and like this YouTube channel, all this stuff? Like, oh my God. She popped up into my life too. But the questions that she was asking me, like, oh, what type of dick size do you like? And oh, really weird stuff, instead of like anything about games, anime conventions, or my art or whatever, just like really weird shit. But at the time, like, I was so depressed and out of it. Being told to like kill myself by my ex and friends backstabbing me and trying to sleep with my boyfriend. Just like my emotions were like over like 9,000. So I wasn't perceptive of, and to be like, hey, like, who are you to ask me really intimate questions like this? So I'm thinking that this person, seeing how, I guess, good I was, or like the accomplishments I made online, that it was like, oh, she's already compromised mentally. She's not, her boundaries are really soft. I can ask her these questions. She's not telling me like, fuck off. And that I can also talk to her friends, because she'll also be like, oh, like, Tomasa's not as good as you are, or Nami, oh, they're not as good as gals as you are, like, oh, you're better, and like your blogging is better, and all this stuff like that. So there's like that triangulation happening. There's that pitting me against the members of my own group. And it's like, okay, I know I have drama with these people, but like, why are you bringing this to me? And it's like, okay, well, this isn't a real business meeting, like at the back, like way at the back of my head, right? And I'm just like, okay, well, like, that doesn't have anything to do with anything. Like, you want me to blog for you, like, let's really get down to the business. And I wasn't really there yet to just be like, shut the fuck up, that has nothing to do with like anything, blah 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 blah. And Lord knows what she was saying to other people, besides like, oh, like, Leisha's so cheap, or she doesn't have a job, she's so broke, I have to like foot the bill for like all this other stuff. And it's like, okay, I have really bad anxiety, I lost my job, and I'm trying to like make it. Like, I'm not begging people to afford stuff for me, and when I got it, like, I got you back, or like, I'm blogging for free for you, so like, what is a beer for like me taking the time out of my day to blog for you and stuff like that. But like, besides that, I feel that this other person was helping like shift us all apart. Like, oh, Alicia's much better than you, or oh, you're much better than them, and like all this stuff. And I feel like that helped the divide. I also feel that with the new Chicago gals and some of the newer people that I've been meeting, that they were kind of added into the equation to like further push the domino effect, because this person was very incessant about like, oh, this person in my gaming group had a breakdown, and she was a cam girl, and blah 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 blah. And I'm thinking like, okay, well, I do YouTube. Like, now it's like, okay, like, I did YouTube. That's kind of, I mean, like, it's not very sexual. I mean, like, probably too much cleavage was shown, like, I'm sorry y'all, but like, was that like hinting at me being a YouTuber having a mental breakdown of being exposed in some type of way, things like that. But it wasn't like, oh, like, I'm fucking you over directly. It's just like the really low key things, and I wasn't sharp back then. Now, like, it all comes back to me. Like, I feel like that's like a fucking Linkin Park song, but honestly, like, all of those little conversations, come back to me, and it's like, oh, like, was that what they meant about this? Or like being told like, oh, I'll sponsor your events, but like, mind you, Black Cherry is not my sole group. It's like, I'm not the sole founder. It's me, Tomasa, and LA's group. So you lied to me about sponsoring my events, but you're also lying to Tomasa and LA, So it's not just like, oh, this is Leisha's Black Cherry group, this is 3 people's group, but I'm lying to Leisha in her face and fucking her over. And I'll be like, Like this went on for years, and I wish like I didn't catch it like back then. But and I'll be like, oh, okay, like since, I haven't really, like after my hiatus, especially when my mom died or whatever, I was like really sick. I'm like, yeah, like I already knew the logistics. Like I just can't throw like a super big event to have people come out. Like I have to work my way from the bottom and like have people like kind of come out and like test the waters and like the whole 9 yards. Like I already thought about this shit. And she's like, oh no, that's not good enough. And it's like, so what is good enough? Is it just like, oh, another lie? But I got my event, but it was shared between the new gal person in Chicago that has like all attention on her right now, as well as Kamila, the new Decora. So it's like, oh, this event that I was telling you for years is now being split between these two other people that I am pitting you against, type of thing. And yeah, like being told like, oh, how come Black people can't have good meetings? But then I'm like, but some sentences ago you just said that I was a bitch in front of these people in public. Like that's not necessary for a business meeting. Or like I'm asking you like, oh, like I can help you out with blah, blah, blah and use my network and da, 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 da. And I'm like, okay, but I've been in your group, I'm being a member of your group for years, almost a decade, mind you, blogging and promoting for free, wearing the t-shirts and promoting for free on my platform, for free. For free, not being paid to walk around with this t-shirt or tell people to join this group or anything. And I'm like, okay, but I've been a part of your group. This is the meeting with Kamila, Ateria, this lady, and myself at this bar in the gay part of Chicago. And this was before the like Fairy Frenzy event that you might be able to see on Facebook. And she's like, oh yeah, I'll use my connects to like help you all out for like blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, well, at what point? Because I haven't gotten any help from you. And I'm saying this out loud, outside of my head, in front of everybody in this place. And she's like, oh, well, like there's different tiers of being in this group. And I'm like, I've been in this group for like a decade. Like I've been some random person. I had like an interview with her friend, Nikki Lynette. I've been promoting. I was getting like the press badges to do ASIN and like other conventions and stuff, being her booth girl, setting up the like still frame of her booth. And mind you, this is like a lot of fucking work, okay, that I'm putting into this group for nothing. And she's like, oh, there's different tiers, and like, are you at like tier number 1 or like, a main sugar gamer? And I'm like, but you told me that I was a main sugar gamer. I'm sorry. That I was a main part of your group, like, are you just like saying like, fuck you, Leisha, type of thing? And then, I'm like, okay, but when is this going to happen? Like, I'm like, like if I had people, I made, an example like, oh, if Ateria wanted, someone to decorate something and I can't do it, why should I tell her that I'll do it if I can't and I won't? And I'm saying this all out loud, and I'm like, Ateria's looking away and like not giving me eye contact or whatever. Kamila's not saying shit. And I'm like, I'll be like, hey, I got someone, let me introduce you to this person, tell this person about you, like basic networking stuff, I feel like, or so I was told from college. And, like, after my example, I'm like, like, when is that going to happen for me? Because I've been here for like a decade working under you, working with you, building your fucking booth with some of the other sugar gamers, And then she gets angry. Like, she even like shook me. Like, she put her hands on my shoulders and like shook me. She also like slammed her fist down on the table. It's like, oh, well, I'm fucking hungry and blah, 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 blah. And like this, and I'm like, that has nothing to do with what I'm saying. And then she like tries to collect herself and like goes to get a drink, and I'm just like, wow, like I got fucked over royally because I just could not perceive like what was happening, you know, like helping someone out and never even in like last minute, like a couple years ago, I was like, oh, I just wanted to say I appreciate you, I guess, just to have it like be on record. But then it's like I've never been appreciated besides like anything else. You know, like, how do I know that you weren't the one trying to fuck my boyfriend too? You know, or you haven't been dragging my name through the mud or turning like all my friends against me and the whole gal community against me. You know, a person that's older than me and a person that I actually looked up to. You know, at first it was like, oh, you got your own business and like you're doing this thing and you're really like active. And it like, I thought the feeling was mutual, but it was just like, Alicia is a threat to this older woman because I guess, you know, young, cute black girl with, I guess, some nice tits or whatever, being in the gaming and anime world. So it's like there is competition for this person that some guy might like see me first or some shit. So like, why not induce a mental breakdown, do all like the manipulation tactics of, you know, leave them out of stuff, lie to them, pit them against other people that are in direct proximity to me and stuff like that. Have people doubt me or think that I'm liars, have other people, I guess maybe use power of suggestion to have other people who have insecurities, who want to be famous, feel some type of way about me to do more dirty work and more damage to me, and stuff like that. But I have 2 minutes remaining, and I will be saving this and editing it as well. But it's been a domino effect, and just like some, I guess Tomasa and LA and Nami couldn't do the bulk of her work. So she got the new Chicago gal and others to do this. For my drawing, this is Kiki from Kiki's Delivery Service. If you haven't guessed already, she's so cute. But I don't think it was just one person. I think it was just, you know, quite a few people, and just like, oh, let's fuck her over and she isn't going to fight back type of thing. And we could just continuously lie and fuck her over and like make her feel bad about herself and induce, you know, these depressive thoughts, because if she kills herself, we don't have competition anymore type of thing. So yeah, just me being stupid and not seeing things for what it is. So thank you for watching. I might make a little site or a link so people can ask questions anonymously, or whatever. But thank you for watching, and see you next time. Thank you, thank you. Thank you for watching. I might make another one of these just to like chat or whatever, but you know, this will be up later on. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Boink.